right, I'll make the motion to come back into regular session at 9:41. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Vote. Yeah. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, carried and approved. Continuing on with reports. Jim, you're up.
Alright, the rest of you don't have my reports from last month because the printer's out of, I don't know what, toner, ink. Couldn't figure out what that printer took, didn't take the time to open it up. But if you want to look at the best copy that's there, it's right there.
That's a good one.
As far as business for the police department, Officer Shane Miller will be resigning at the end of the month. He was hired on full-time by another department, so I'll be accepting his resignation here relatively soon. Erie County Sheriff's Office.
He made it out of, how many was it?
Oh, I have no idea.
It was,
No, he was a pool of a few.
it was quite a few hundred, and he made the top percent of it, and they called him. And
Good for him.
Yeah, he was like in the top 4 when all was said and done, I think. So
Good for him.
I think for 3 positions or 2 or 3 positions they were looking to fill.
Hey, Rose. Huh?
Oh, sorry.
Rose, will you be able to draft up a letter of thanking Shane for his service to the community? He was very active, and he will be missed. And then I'll sign that. Needs to be done for him. So in regards to that.
So in regards to filling his position, I don't know what the village uses for, I guess a sounding board for that, or press for that, and what papers used.
Only in Times Herald is the official paper.
Only in Times Herald, okay. We need to put something in that paper or a couple papers.
We also have to do the Go On to News. Both are listed as they're designated as our papers, are they not?
No, you can only, well, your official paper is, it has to be a daily.
No, the floater.
Oddly enough, you can designate multiple papers,
Our floater.
but it's advisable
Chris
because then you have
will,
to pay to publish in each of them whenever you do something.
Right.
Jay, we've got police officers listed through civil service. We don't have to go through that, do we?
As long as it's part-time,
Yeah.
I believe.
If they stay below the 20, 48 hours a year, or
We're
20,
considered,
40 hours.
we're considered a part-time department,
It's like 20 hours a week.
so we're not under civil service. Then we are, right standard at 1040, but we don't have to hire off of the competitive list because we're not a full-time department. So we will need something out there looking for another
How long?
officer. I'd like to see it ran for a couple weeks just to get as many out there. I'd like to have someone hired by the end of October.
Okay, I don't think I have any police officer help wanted ads to use as a template.
Okay.
The previous couple of officers have, I don't know what they've used as their pool.
What did we use when we hired Mr. Was on 2nd Street?
Drought?
Yeah, Drought.
Jim's recommendation.
It was Jim's recommendation. Okay.
Plus, he already sent in a resume before the opening occurred, so.
He may have some on
And he
file
was a
because
resident,
once in a
so
great
it was
while
one of
we
those
have
things
someone
where-
stop in to fill out an application and leave a resume.
Alright, so we just need to get one put out there as soon as possible. Would you be able to get that done by this, or have that submitted to the Olean Herald, the Olean Times?
Yes, if Jim wants to write something up, it takes 2 days once I notify them, and then I can have it published in the paper.
I don't think it's
Okay.
anymore from my understanding.
Is that can you do
Doable.
that? You can?
I think the board should have a resolution for that.
Alright, so I'll make the resolution then.
Basically, I'd like to be able to make the hire by the end of the month. I'd like to
Just to
be
approve
given
it.
the,
Okay,
Just
so,
Go
to
ahead,
approve
make it.
publication of the papers because it does cost
but
money.
also he would like to do the interviews. Of course, he'll do the interviews and then be able to hire who he feels is the best candidate. Being the OIC, is that an issue so that the individual can start in November so that they can start with training right away?
The board can approve it at the work session.
there you
For the work session, what, the 24th?
26.
26th.
So we don't wanna say for, take it, or will we have time to, we be able to interview whoever and have a decision by the 24th or 26th, whatever it is?
As long as I have people willing to come down and interview and I get resumes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of important, but we'll see.
So then I'll make the resolution to, for Jim to,
Publicized.
publicize the hiring, for the position. And post it in the Only in Times. Can I have a second?
A second.
Which one of you, Joe?
Rick, too.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous, carried and approved. Anything else, sir?
That's all.
Joe?
Rick.
Down in Little Valley, because we have a park down there, that's part of the McGee Trail.
Yeah.
And so I managed to have somebody caught doing a shake and bake at 12:30 in the morning in a meth lab in my pavilion. But it turns out that they busted at least 5 different meth labs in the last couple of months down there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, we had an individual at 8:30 in the morning hyperventilating up here, and that we had to take to the hospital.
Yeah.
And are you picking up anything here? Or?
Not a lot that has come out.
Okay.
It's one of those things where, you know, who's gonna talk about it? in public? And it's one of those things where the people that I deal with on a daily basis are not those people.
It seems that I can't believe that we're innocent up here.
Yeah, I mean, unless I have, you know, reasonable suspicion to believe or probable cause to deal with these people, I mean, I can go and say, hey, you know, how's the meth business going? But they're gonna be like, what are you talking about? And walk away, and I have no right to keep them because I have nothing to hold them on. You know, I can approach them and ask, but,
Okay.
you know,
I'm
not
just saying, if you were picking up anything.
yeah, it's not exactly effective.
I don't know, maybe a street or whatever.
Let's see, uniform, usually the,
They
block
mark
out
the alley or
they block out, you know.
Okay.
Would that be like the DEC trailer or something?
It could
Yeah, I
be
do
the
know.
DC trailer, could be the
I heard about your-
Wetmaster.
Pardon?
I heard about that issue on the trail.
Yeah. I mean, there's no walls, so if it blew up, it was just, the roof was just gonna go up, the walls were gonna go up.
Yeah,
But I like this, is that,
Mhm.
I guess it was
I
her
just
boyfriend
wondered
that
because it
blew
blew
up the.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
6 months ago.
He
What?
took his-
was,
he took
yeah.
his,
There's reason to believe that there were,
Right.
Alright, you got anything else, sir?
I just wondered because of that.
Just
Yeah,
wanna,
that's my guess, is that
That's
it.
what I-
I just
My
want you
guess
to
is
know,
the
thankful
DC
for
trailer
all that you do, and you guys are doing a great job as always. And
Thank you.
Well, it should be checked.
thank you for handling all the
Thank you.
situations and addressing them, and you guys are always in contact, and I just appreciate for what you guys do. I don't think you guys get enough recognition whatsoever, and, I hope that everybody notices how valuable you guys truly are. I mean, losing Shane hurts. But it's great for him and I
And
absolutely.
one last thing, Jim, thanks for bringing the knife, otherwise you'd still be here trying to open the envelope.
Yeah, I got one thing for you, boss. Winter's coming, please tell your guys to be pertinent about getting the car in and out.
Pertinent about getting the car in and out.
Yeah, I don't wanna go out the back room and see them sitting there, the car outside, running, door open, getting dressed, ready to go to work.
Okay, absolutely. I'll
Windows,
address them.
heat's blowing out the door,
Yeah, I'll address them on that.
you know, in and out, please.
I hope they would come when they're dressed already, but.
Well, I've seen it every once, and
Well, I think it is.
Okay.
We shouldn't have an issue with that. Hopefully we don't.
no, we don't know, 'cause he's gonna take care of it, we have before.
Does anybody have anything else for Jim?
No.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Go
much.
ahead.
Generally stole it.
See you guys.
Alright, John, you're up, sir.
Okay. In front of you have a work order, from now on, when I go do something in somebody's house, or somebody, the mayor, trustees asked me to do something, I wish they would fill one of these out, and we'll have the residents sign off and the workers sign off on it, and we'll have a description, you know, if it's a sewer complaint, water complaint, then if it's money spent, transferred, whatever, we know. And the bottom line there, it says about paying any fees are done, that we cannot work for people anymore, or whatever, how that works.
You know what you said at the meeting the other night, that you can't take away work from private contractors?
What's this? Oh, that's.
Alright, so this is like what frozen pipes essentially say?
Anything.
Anyway.
The other night I went to the sewer, I mean, just so I got record of what was done, and if I had, when I got Eric coming to fill up and clean out the sewer, I went and fixed the sewer on Sunday. I can get the residents to sign off, I was there, and it's over, it's done.
It could even be used for a pothole and.
No, it's basically for sewer and water. And, it's just like out here when we
For any
change all the
resident.
sign out there, any complaints, we can have this, and just so we're backing ourselves up, showing that the work gets done. And I've got a copy of things that are done.
Yeah, good idea, John.
Well,
I mean, if I come to you and say, here's 3 work orders, cause this meter's froze up. Here they are, this is what I have the proof, and when the resident says, well, no, don't, well, you signed all 3 of these work orders, we have, when we
which we
address
can fix water meters, because we own the water meters. If it's something with a
Yeah.
septic tank and we own the septic tank, then we have to, yes.
Yeah,
Not for gifting of funds, but if something of that we own that they need fixed, I think it's a great
It
idea.
covers us a little bit, so.
Yeah. I'm just saying, he wasn't aware, you said the other night that at your conference, they said that we can't do any kind of work. Like for a water line, anything like we discussed before, that has to be a public, we can't take away work from private contractors,
Correct.
from the private sector, so that's all I was saying.
Well, it's
We
more
need
that-
fees.
My understanding of that is just that the village would have to get paid for doing it.
We can't even, like from the valve box to the meter, we can't fix that water
Can
line.
you send me what materials you have on
Yeah, that's New York
that?
State
Even
law.
for a fee?
Now, we can't go on there and fix it for free because that would
No, I
be
said
giving up
for, yeah, you can't do it.
and
for
we
free.
can't charge them a fee because we do not have the right to work on somebody's private property. Even if they were to give us an easement, the only thing that we could do to work on that, like say for frozen pipes, is if like this insurance thing that's supposed to come up that Rural Water and NICOM are working on together to get pushed so that, that's the only way. Right now, like for frozen pipes, if that happens, they need to contact the plumber. The village cannot fix it, period. And Little Valley, actually, Norm Marsh, who's the mayor and the legislator, made the comment that they were actually in violation and that OFC came down on them for doing
Well, I'd love to
such.
see the materials on that, I'll have to talk to him. Because I did some research into the issue and it doesn't just jump right out, sadly.
Yeah, that was one of the,
So if NICOM and the Rural Water are coming up with insurance,
What it will be
who's-
is they're gonna have to push the state legislature if that's the case.
who's doing the work then?
I don't know if there would be a private contractor company or something that would do it. I would assume that's what it would probably be for, a plumber. I guess if the plumber would accept the insurance, or I don't know yet.
So it's still not the DPW's.
I don't know, that hasn't been disclosed yet, who would. Maybe the village could, because then they could get money from that, because it's covered by an insurance
Mhm.
company. I don't know. There's more to come, hopefully that's something that's gonna get pushed in the next legislation, is what they're really working adamantly for. Alright, so do we need to accept, the work order that John proposed? Or can John just use it and then customers, or residents just need to fill it out?
I don't see why you can't use it.
Alright, I'm just asking, do we
You
need to
can
make?
approve it if you want to.
You can approve it, but I don't think you need to.
Well, if we don't need to, then I don't see the need
Well, I just
to.
wanna make sure you guys are.
Absolutely, I think it
Whatever
makes
you
sense.
I
want.
mean,
John.
if John
Just for good
wants,
record keeping.
if John wants an approval,
So then you can point to it in the minutes for a future board, board approved that I use this.
Alright, so then I'll make the motion that we'll approve the work order, for the DPW that John has submitted.
Could we put those put numbers, something or other, so that we know?
What number work order we're on?
Well, I just simple, number 1, 2, 3, 4, so that way somebody can say, well, geez, what has he done? Well, he's up to work order number 28, something like that, that would be simple.
I agree with that.
start over every year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you can, you just have like 2015-1, 2015-2, something like that, I guess.
I'm just saying, so that somebody says, well, what are they doing? Well, they're doing a lot of work.
Can I have a second for that?
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous, carried and approved.
That's me, Roscoe. I second.
Alright, Jen, what else you got, sir?
Leaf pickup season starting. The state called, we hauled melons Friday. And Tom volunteered to come in today on his day off and hauled, so we get more. Then tomorrow I told him I'll go over in the morning. As you well know, I did ask for a week's vacation. I'll go over in the morning and, tell him to, check in, make sure everything's okay over the weekend. Get them picking up leaves, so we probably won't be hauling melons tomorrow. The bid on the sidewalk, Botchman is the one, it's the only one there. So I wrote the specs, 4 foot wide, pilot controls, cab with heat. Radio was optioned at $636 for an 8 method radio.
Okay.
The guys all got smartphones, I guess they can get some earphones and play music on earphones.
Yeah, but do we want them with earbuds in their ears?
And the worst part about them machines, I don't know, but I'm not gonna spend $600 for a radio. They
Can you
come.
put one in it yourself?
I'll probably could figure out something, yeah, go from there.
So that's the one to accept then?
That's the one, that's the only one that fits the specs that was wrote.
Alright, so then I'll make the motion then to approve the bid for the purchase through Bachman for the amount of, what was it, $31,800. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Bo?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Did you say aye?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so it's unanimous, carried and approved.
That worked out pretty good.
We all get to take it for a ride.
We're gonna put it in the one-way parade.
Well, I'm sorry?
Do we have to have a letter of intent?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, because the machine is sitting there, and I'm sure once they get the letter of intent, we'll have it.
Okay.
The money's in the budget, I think what was budgeted for the backhoe and parts of the sidewalk plow were 32 something, like,
That was
Wrong number, something like that.
5,000 for-
yeah.
Really?
Come in under, yeah.
came in
It
under.
might be cost, we might spend a couple $100 to build the plow for it, other than that, we should be ready to rock and roll.
How soon can we get that, you think, Jim?
Possibly have it by the end of the week.
Oh.
Very
The
good.
machine's sitting there. That's what the salesman told me. Every salesman come in and told me their machine was there. I asked for transfer money, I gotta buy tires for the Bobcat and the pickup.
Yeah.
And there's gonna be tires for the plow truck this year too. I went to both local establishments. Price difference between $300 and $400.
Who was lower?
Ziegler was lower.
Oh, if you're in.
On one set of tires, one was a little bit cheaper. The ones that I want to get for the skid steer, once Jim Gonzalez gets me the other three wheels, they're comparable. And if it's alright with you guys, and you give me the go ahead, in all fairness, I'd like to buy one set of tires from one and another set from the other guy. They're both doing business here, they're both paying water bills, they're both paying sewer bills, they're both paying taxes. And I have not a problem with either men running either establishment, and I wholeheartedly think that they deserve the business. And it seems that I'm buying two sets. If it's alright with you, I get one from whatever Jared's business name is, and Scott's Street.
Street Auto.
Yeah. If that's okay.
I mean,
with
even
everybody.
Can we do that though? Cause I thought we agreed.
No, that was just for a police car.
What was this car?
Yeah.
Truck car?
I mean, even if you went out of the village, John, to get prices, even if you had to take a skid steer out of the village to get tires put on it, it's gonna cost you more in the long run.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't have a problem with that.
Well, there's the skid steer, the Bobcat tires, I'm gonna mount shop.
You don't need a motion for that, correct? For him to just choose.
I need a motion to spend the money.
Yeah.
Oh. Can I get a motion then for John to spend the funds that are needed to get tires for the Bobcat and for the truck?
I'll make it.
Wirt made the motion, Rick seconded it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, carried and approved.
Good. And all the prices and stuff for the next meeting for the other truck. Those should hopefully be on state bid, I'm hoping.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
Let's hope, but I'll have more information on that one. As far as that, everything is okay. Sewer reports will be done this week. Water reports are all in. We're all caught up on water reports again. There was a discrepancy somewhere along the line we lost November's of last year. Where it went, how it went, I don't know.
Are we being fined for that?
I don't know because nobody knows what happened. It went. Everything was there at one time, but I don't know if in transition one got lost, so Tom went back in and brought it back up and rerun it till it's signed. We're all good.
Okay, good. By the way, awesome job this past summer
Thank you.
with the transition and everything. You did a darn good job being the superintendent and making sure that we got roads done and all the summer issues or summer things that need to be done. And I just hope you know that your work is appreciated. You checking in with me frequently is very much appreciated, so I know what's going on.
When did we appoint him?
When did we hire him?
Yeah.
July,
July?
yeah, John?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Time clock
July
worker?
5th or 6th.
Time clock work up there?
July, August, September.
Time clock work up there?
3 months.
Good months. He's done a good job. Anyways, thank you, sir.
Why for?
Oh, I was curious, there's just an issue about lately, so.
Well, when I started, I handed out everybody the timesheets that everybody fills out, and that's what I use. You know, they're detailed.
It's good record keeping.
Well, I keeps what I got, what they do during the day. And,
Essentially a log.
You guys work what, what's your hours?
no, we're 7:34.
7 to 4?
We went back 8 hours this
7:34.
this last pay period.
Did, Rose let you know about that water leak up there on 353?
I left him a note on his mailbox. He was off Friday, and
Oh.
then we were closed today. But it's on his
It's-
mailbox for him next time he comes
It's
in.
just up past Countryside, there's 2 pipes that come out of the ground,
Countryside.
landscaping. There's a line that comes up and another line that kinda goes down and curls, like it, almost like it goes under the road.
That has to run.
All that has to spray like that.
For
Yeah.
residuals?
That has to run to make the water system work, and they get airbound.
Really?
Yeah, it's like a yard hydrant sticking up, and it goes under the tube, yeah, that has to run all the time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were
If you,
up there the other day.
if you shut that off, things go awry.
Okay.
Anybody have anything for John?
John, thank you.
No.
No disappointments, but I think you've done a great job.
Agreed.
We'll
Thanks
keep
for-
trying, that's all I can do.
Alright, sir, you're free to go.
Okay, good evening, call me.
Thank you. Does anybody have anything to add for the youth council?
Nope, still waiting for, paperwork.
Anything for planning and zoning? Rose? Besides, we're still meeting the zoning.
See you, John.
You guys need to review the joint planning board stuff, but that's under,
Yeah. Gary was here, but he.
Yep, what do you think about that, Gary?
With, I hate to jump back, with the youth council, Rose, when does that paperwork have to be filed?
I believe she spoke to, there's the 5th person now that she's dealing with at youth council. He said he has not forgotten her.
Right.
When he sends all the paperwork out, he will include her. I don't know that she's gotten the submission from him yet.
Okay.
She's just waiting to fill it out when she gets it.
Okay.
Alright, we went over everything with John. Gary was here, but he could not stay for the first 2 hours, so don't blame him. Parks, trees, events. We do have something. The fire department is having a costume trick-or-treating. They're having a parade. Is that on the night of Halloween?
I have no knowledge of it.
Firemen's Club is hosting it, the Women's
Oh,
Auxiliary.
the club, I don't know, I don't deal with the club, so.
Well, they're hosting something. They've been posting it on Facebook, and they're gonna have a parade, and then the kids can come in, and they're gonna get judged for best costumes and all that, and they're gonna have cider and donuts and stuff. So I think that's a great event that the Women's Auxiliary is really making an honest effort to get the community involved and to bring us together. I think that's needs to be noted and appreciated. I know I've talked to them and thanked them for all their work, and they did a good job with the community picnic, and making it entertaining for kids, and they're continuing to do that. I'm sure they'll have a nice thing for Christmas. Just very impressed with what the Fireman's Club or Women's Auxiliary, whichever organization you want to call it, is doing.
Also the tag and team event Saturday.
Can you discuss that? Can you say that there's a dinner, right?
I don't know what it is, I know it starts around noon. Buy tickets, they got tickets for sale at the club. You know, there's like a Chinese auction, 50-50 raffle, a few other things, but, yeah. I don't know if there's a dinner or not.
Does anybody know if there's anything else going on for events?
Trick or treat hours, usually are held on trick or treat from 6 to 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So just confirming with the board that that's what we'll do this year.
I would say so. Can you remind me to make sure that we have the police are out and for that?
Okay, I'll leave them a reminder.
Thank you. We don't have anything for insurance, right? I still haven't heard anything from from Gray Insurance in regards to coming here and having an office. I don't know if that'd be something they might consider next year. I mean, I've reached out to a couple businesses, talked to Verizon. I don't think they're gonna invest. I was hoping maybe they could put you in just a kiosk and people could pay their bills with cash here. I don't know. I'm working with the county trying to see if we can bring a call center into the county to help promote jobs. It might not be in the village, but it'd be something for our county that could help. Any new business can help lower costs for taxes. So, I'll discuss more with what we have from CCMOA. Civil defense, there's nothing, right? Don't believe. Senior citizens, there's nothing in regards to.
Didn't we approve the bidding for the floor? Didn't we do that last meeting?
I thought we did, didn't we? Did we approve the bidding for the floor? Or no? I don't know, I guess maybe I should have waited John for that, because there's John and Gary resolving that issue.
Yeah, John's gonna bid out encapsulating the floor with a floating floor, village only. I'm sorry, labor only, village will obtain the product.
Okay,
So I will
follow up with him on that, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Anything from the ambulance?
I missed the last meeting.
They had a chicken barbecue last Sunday. They had a pretty good turnout.
Did they?
Yeah.
That's good.
Other than that, business as usual there.
Library?
On Halloween, I believe it is, they're gonna be doing a fundraiser with, guess they're gonna have like ghost hunting equipment. Take a little tour, go through the upstairs. With all that.
Where, in the library?
Yeah.
Oh,
We're
really?
gonna be selling tickets for that pretty soon. I think it's limited too because of how much they can do, but,
Yeah, come up with that idea.
somebody on the library board.
That's pretty creative.
Yeah. Myself and Beth Friends are now members of the library board. And also they have a new director. Kathy Parent has resigned. And Erin, not sure what her last name is.
Heightenreiter?
Yeah, that's difficult. She's the new director. Effective October 1st.
Do you have a date when that, I'm sorry.
I think it's Halloween, pretty
Oh,
sure.
it
I
is.
got a meeting next week, I'll let you know.
Yeah, 'cause I'd like to help out with that, I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Jay, you're up.
There was a question about the amount of time that I put in. I did a quick estimate, not quick estimate. I've got some of the time. This is time just spent during meetings since April 6th, not counting that meeting though, because I wasn't officially retained. 40 hours, 45 minutes. The things that time does not include. I've been asked a number of side questions, either the mayor or Rose, or occasionally I'll get a phone call from a board member or John. So this is a hodgepodge of those, and I was going through things chronologically. I'm sorry they're not organized. But these do not show up in that 40 hours. Employment standards for minors. I received a couple of questions on that because some of our summer help is under 18. Writing up the waiver from the siding damage from the village truck so that we had the person who was writing up the Offerbeck easement, vehicle use policy. There were a number of questions and some sharpening of pieces that had to be done on that. doing research into seeing if we could do anything with the town court in order to get them to give us some revenue. Sadly, no. Resignation and employment questions. When a trustee stepped down, how does the appointment for the new one work? Because we did have that there was some research there. The solar panel grant, civil service meeting. I've got probably 25 things that are not included in that 40 hours. So at halfway through the year, it's been 6 months since I was appointed, I'm a little over halfway through the total time. As for expenses, you did ask for that as well. The total pay to me has been $2,520, including the last check. The amount of expenses that I've had were $2,471.22. That's for the 3 conferences that I attended, including the one in Geneseo for the new officers and employees from NICOM, the Southern Tier West Conference, and the Lake Placid Conference that just concluded. I'd like to note that is slightly less than the $2,500 for the one grant that I've obtained. And we'll still continue looking into the second grant. That's what they say is a rolling deadline, so it is still open until the funds are gone. So there's a September deadline for the use of continuing funds, but there's still funds out there and they haven't been used up, so we may still be able to get a second grant with the electric vehicle parking policy. But the question is if we're going to want to put in a charging station, and if so, where, because parking is obviously a complex issue. A big issue that has come up, there will have to be a review of how the village relates with the fire department. It turns out, and maybe this has already been taken care of, but we'll have to research to be sure it's the case, when there is a fire company located in a village, any volunteer fire's benefits payments, so if there's an injured fireman or a disabled or a deceased fireman from somebody responding to a call, the village is required to make all of the payments under volunteer fire's benefits law. The village counts as the employer of all firemen for OSHA and for PESH, the state regulators for workers' compensation and for worker safety. And I just want to check the formalities and make sure that they're covered on the Gray's policy, and if not, if the fire department has a policy that the village is named as an additional insured. Otherwise, the village will be the one paying for those claims and not getting any money back from the insurance company for it. So we'll have to be careful with that. I'd like to do a review of the paperwork between the village and the fire department to make sure the village is covered, because I don't know if that's been done.
From my understanding with the fire department is that the town took over.
The town covers the workers' comp for the fire department.
Unfortunately, if there is a fire department, well, the village would definitely have to be named as an additional insured, at a minimum.
That's
They would
state
have,
law.
yeah, the only way around it is if you get the state assembly to pass a town having a fire protection district that extends into a village. And that's been done for, I think, 2 or 3 villages on Long Island, but you'd have to get it through the state assembly.
Okay.
The workers' comp was originally with the village when the fire department was formed. When New Albion joined in 2001, the fire department was moved to the town.
Is the department physically in the town, or is it physically in the village?
It's physically in the village.
It's in the village.
Yeah, then that's,
But they were, I meant
sorry.
the workers' comp.
mhm.
The experience in the fire department will hit the bill due January 2016. The bill goes out in September. We did get the workman's comp bills. The fire department is listed on the town workers' comp bill.
Mhm.
The village workers' comp bill did have a sizable increase of about 38%. I called in to find out about the increase. I was told they had adjusted a budget or numbers or something, new bills would be coming out. I followed up 2 weeks later, and she said that it ended up that nothing changed and that the bills stood as they were sent out originally.
With the
So,
increase, you mean?
with the 38% increase. I asked her, she said it was a claim from last year, and I asked her to send me the paperwork on that claim so that the board could understand what the claim was and, why it warranted a 38% increase.
Mhm.
I have not received that paperwork yet.
So, also, what about the commissioner, or about the chief?
Not the chief, but for each of the members of the fire department, there's a formality that I don't know if it's been followed, but new members are either active and approved by the board or not active and not approved. And this is a formality. The fire company picks their own people, they bring them to the board, and the board rubber stamps it. The only reason the board has to approve it is if a fireman gets injured or killed, and that fire department member wasn't approved by the board, then their family doesn't get any of the volunteer fire benefits payments. With one exception, every 4 or 5 years, the governor convinces the assembly to pass a law retroactively granting that active designation to people who've already been doing it, but that hasn't been done, I think, in 3 years.
You're saying
So-
the village board?
Yep, just has to say, we approve you being an active
Will they
member.
have their own fire board and commission?
Right, now the village cannot interfere with the president, secretary, treasurer. The village cannot interfere with the selection of officers for the club. But the village does have to designate whether or not they're active versus not active.
We don't have to approve a chief or any other officers, correct?
The chief is subject to approval from the board, actually, I believe so. But there'll have to be a larger, and I just wanted to let the board know that that's coming. There'll have to be a significant amount of research done into that to make sure if somebody gets hurt, I don't want the village to have to pay a huge amount of money because this wasn't taken care of properly. And I don't
Very
want anybody
fortunate,
hurt.
actually, that nothing like that has
I
transpired.
just want to make sure that it's taken care of.
I sent copies of the minutes from the time that the fire district was formed jointly by the town and village. I sent both town and village minutes to Katie at the county when Eric raised the question about whether the workers' comp for the fire was on the village bill or the town bill.
Mhm.
So I will copy that information to
That'd
you
be
as well.
fantastic. Thank you very much.
So, just so I understand what's being said here, so if we want coverage on these people, is that supposed to come out
We might
periodically?
already have coverage, I don't know.
We don't
I'd like
have
to,
any
I'd like to review to see whether or not we do, and if we don't, then if somebody else already has insurance, whatever it's gonna take to get the village added as an additional insured, because it's the village who has to pay it. And even if the fire company has insurance, the insurance company won't pay the claim. So they'll get all those great insurance premiums and not end up having to pay any claims.
So is this going to drive us up financially, or?
I don't know, it depends on whether or not we already have that insurance or not, or whether or not we're already named as somebody else's additional insured.
Okay, but we need to address it. In my own mind, it seems like these people are volunteers, we need to do what's
Should
right
cover
by
that.
them.
Agreed.
I mean, they're going out in the middle of the night when nobody else wants to try to save somebody's life or save somebody's home.
Are you able to have all that research compiled and provide what we?
I don't know about by the next meeting, but I'll be looking into it, yes.
Okay.
So you're saying the mayor appoints the fire chief?
I'm not 100% on that, but I believe the board does have some approval process over who's ultimately the chief, yes. Which I understand the fire department would have their hairs raised by that and be very irritated by it, so.
Who's the current chief now?
Weinstein. He's been chief for a long time.
There's
He's
a-
great
Yeah,
chief.
so that would be-
There is a paragraph in the Nikon book about a fire chief, fire department.
Mhm.
I thought that said that they were paid.
I don't know, it's been a while since I read it, I'm just quick.
Do you have
But you're gonna be
that?
looking into that though, right?
Yes,
Thank you. Doing research.
that was one of the big red flags that came up during the conference.
Jay, would you have that for the working session?
I'll try to, but I can't guarantee it because I'll have to try and get information from multiple other people,
Okay.
including our insurance company and
Okay, because
other.
I think that we need to make sure that we're doing our part and all the way through.
Agreed. Anything else, sir?
That's it for me.
And
Unless anybody had questions, happy to answer any questions.
any questions for Jay?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. After you stated everything that you've done and for what we have not been charged.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for everything you've done. You've helped us. These past 6 months have been very testing, I should say, and very informational, and you've been a key part to making sure that we're doing things by the law, and greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I got 5 attorneys in my family. I know what you're doing. Thank you.
Rose, you're up, my dear.
You should have a copy of the register report showing the deposits that were made by the clerk's office into the village account. The last day for paying village taxes will be November 2nd because October 31st falls on a weekend. So I will be accepting in my office on the 2nd as well.
Okay.
Winter parking, I need to advertise and post that. That begins November 1st, runs to April 1st, village-wide. That's something that we do every year.
Okay. You don't need a resolution for that, correct?
You're certainly welcome to make one. I'm gonna make an I'm gonna advertise it, so if you want to make a resolution authorizing me to run that ad.
I'll make the motion to do such. Can I have a second, please?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous, carried and approved. Oh, yeah, that's right, I got one.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I'm still working on my vacation. I usually take it the second week in November. I'm trying to work out to take it around Christmas time, but that's trying to get town tax bills out, so I wanna make sure that everything is covered. So I'm still working on that. I will let you know at the October, work session, which one I'm gonna be taking my vacation on.
Okay.
I take a week in May and I take a week in November. I break up my vacation.
So we lose you for 5 days, is that?
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Christmas is a good time.
Counting the days. The March 2016 election, I did not get the, I don't think it's a certification, but they sent me a paper to fill out regarding the place, the time, the positions that are gonna be open for the election. I didn't receive that previous to this meeting, but I just thought, since we normally do it at the October meeting, that I would bring it up. It would be at the Cat Firemen's Club, 24 Memorial Drive. The village election is noon to 9, and I have 4 trustee positions that would be open for March 2016 election.
Yep.
Be 2 for 2-year terms and 2 for 1-year terms.
Okay.
Now, am I correct in Jason and I will be up for
2-year.
the 2-year term? And
Bo
Rick
and
and Bo for the 1-year term
Or
because of
1-year
the
terms.
vacancies that we filled? Correct? That's what the board of
Right.
elections
I-
told me.
I wanted to look it up
Yes.
before the meeting, and I didn't,
That is a
so I'd have
little
to go
false.
back and look at the
I
letter,
spoke to
but,
them a while back and that's what they said.
okay.
I'm in Walter's seat, Jason's
Okay.
in Nikki's seat, Bo's and Rick's obviously, and Rick is in
Tom,
Tom's, so
okay.
Jason
Was
and I
that
will be
based on
running
order
for a
of
2-year
appointment?
term,
Yes.
and they will be running for a 1-year term, and have to run again the following year.
And we do make a resolution on the election
Make the motion.
for
Also,
the place and time and date, or not date, I'm sorry, place and time and the terms that are gonna be open.
I made such, and Jason second. All in favor, say aye.
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 It's unanimous, carried and approved.
And
Anything else?
that is all that I have.
Alright, just to inform on regards to meetings that we had, that I attended, trainings, meetings, everything. Jason and I met with the business owners in regards to parking. We corrected the parking up on Main Street, and it's just the 20 feet from the curb as the state law states. So those spots were added. We are looking at having a lease with, is it the Historical Society? With the Historical Society for the property next to the Crawford House for parking that the village will maintain. So just waiting from Patrick Cullen to receive a lease to do such, so that would we provide, we wouldn't provide the lease, he would, correct?
You could, or he could. It depends on how you want it done. If he offers a lease, then you look over it and you.
Well, because you can't just go ahead and just take over the property without authorization, or else that'd be considered gifting funds, correct? Because we put down, some stone.
You can't improve someone's property, correct?
Correct. So we have to have a lease, but we're looking to put in.
And for insurance reasons too. If it's on someone's private property, you want, if there's somebody's car's broken into, or if there's an injury, and it's considered public parking, you wanna make sure your butt's covered.
So, we're working on that. They discussed about having a parking at the top of the railroad, where the railroad depot was, where we have that little, I don't know if you call it a park, but, business owners were expressing interest, to, over the years, take money out of the budget to develop a parking spot. You know, we'd probably create, 15, I don't know how many parking spots, but it would require to take out a big tree, move a monument, take out hedges and stuff, and then level it out it'd be quite the task, so, did all the business owners by chance come up and sign up for a committee for, well, then I gotta follow up with them on that. Asked all the business owners to sign up for a committee for parking, seeing how they're very, concerned about such. The meeting was, 45 minutes? It was pretty good.
Yeah.
We got through everything pretty much. Like I said, four of us, excluding Bo, attended the CCMOA meeting. Main thing that we discussed there was the land bank that Crystal Abers discussed, or that informed us all about. The land bank for Cat County is going to be used for both commercial and residential properties to fix up, tear down buildings or refurbish buildings or do something with the property. I asked Crystal to see if we could do anything about using a portion of the money, like say along on 219, from Ashford Hollow to Elkville, about like building a business complex to have like a call center or such. Seeing how that maybe might be the best because we could get quite a few people, Tri-County area possibly, but it'd be for Cat County benefits for having a business, and to see about getting a lobbyist to invest here. They'd like to get businesses to invest, such say Verizon or Yahoo or Geico or anything that they've done in other counties. And Crystal said pretty much that the county does not have employable residents due to the fact of alcohol abuse and drug use. So I don't know what's going on essentially with that. I don't know exactly what 4 properties they're all going to be looking at to work on. There was a discussion about maybe just working on fixing up residential properties, seeing how the whole county is residential. So there's more to come from that. In regards to NICOM, learned quite a bit from NICOM. It was a very informational conference. I would like to see that the clerk be attending the fall conference because it's typically called the Clerk Treasurer Conference, and a lot of it's geared towards finances, towards budget, record keeping. A few things just to go over quickly, so I'm not just bloviating here, is that what main thing we talked about was water with frozen pipes that the village doesn't have the right to fix from the valve box to the meter per New York State law. That's their property. It's their property. It's the resident's property. We as a municipality cannot fix it for free because that's considered gifting of funds, and we cannot charge them as we discussed before, which I thought would be okay, but I was wrong in that. But we can't charge them either because we have no right to be on their property. And the other aspect is that I asked them, and so then who is supposed? A bunch of municipalities are wrong on this. It's not like we're just the only one all across the state. Everybody was dealing with frozen pipes, and municipalities were fixing it. But the OSC is saying that they're going to be hammering down on that, and if you get caught doing such, they have fines, whatever the case may be. But it's against state law. We can't do it, and that residents have to get in it a plumber to fix it. Met with NYSERDA, had a wonderful session and spoke with them afterwards and communicating via email to see possibly about the village becoming a pilot municipality for solar energy. And that could help us a lot. They're looking for municipalities that want to do such. And I think it could be a great opportunity to save money for energy. Maybe it can help our residents. It'll definitely lower the cost for us. If we all see how much we're spending on lights constantly and for energy, our utilities are astronomical. Well, not astronomical, but they're high. It's an expense. It could be something that we could help us down the road. Also, talk to them about getting LED lights for the street lights. There are programs out there. I need to contact National Grid in regards to see where we're going with that. NYSERDA, the guy that I spoke with, he wasn't 100% sure, so he has another guy that's supposed to be getting in contact with me. But that would also help with our utility costs. I don't know if that's something that we would have to pay for or if there's a grant for it. But they're saying there's opportunities with that. One thing to help with saving money is that, Jay, this is one that you had with summer help.
And it applies actually to any village employee, but it turns out the village does not have to obey New York State minimum wage law, only the federal one. And apparently the county does this already, and some other municipalities do. They pay only the federal minimum wage to, whether it be summer help or any part-time help. That's the wage floor, the $7.25 an hour instead of the $8.75 an hour. And in fact, anytime the board has hired somebody or approved paying for somebody above $7.25 but below, if you're paying anybody $8.75 as the wage, you have to make sure that's been in a motion in the minutes, because the state comptrollers has been cracking down on villages paying people more than what was approved. Interesting, and I did not know that until the meeting. And if you run the numbers on it, it's something like $2,000 to $3,000 a year the village would save if they paid summer help $7.25 instead of $8.75, or as of January 1st of next year, $9 an hour.
So that's huge savings.
Even though previous practice has been to pay the New York State minimum wage, we could next year conceivably.
Pay federal, and in fact, if the motion doesn't approve paying state minimum, then we would actually have been in violation of state comptroller record keeping and spending of funds rules. So
At the organizational meeting, we include summer help and the hourly wage.
yeah, fantastic. So there's no problem with the record keeping, but you can change the wage if you want. And these are people that are, in high school frequently, so they'll miss the money, but we'll still find workers, I bet.
I agree with that. And if somebody comes back for a second year or whatever, I don't see why we can't give a quarter more or something, to keep coming back. It's within the community, and it's a pretty decent job, you get to work 4 10s typically, and you have the 3-day weekend every time, so. Also noted that we do not have to have a designated paper for publishing period. We don't have to designate a paper. So the only way with that though, we would have to make a motion when we have, such as posting a hearing or anything like that, to say what paper we want it to be in. So that was interesting to know as well.
Some municipalities actually had 3 official papers and had to pay to publish 3 different notices every time they wanted to have a public hearing for a law or.
And the last thing was the minutes are the minutes. We do not need to approve. There's no need to. The clerk writes down the minutes. That is her position. She is the record keeper. She handles the minutes. And that's that.
The guy who runs the Committee on Open Government is Bob Freeman. It's only a 2-man committee. Anyway, he was at the conference. Hell of a great speaker.
Yeah.
Very entertaining.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he is. He actually went pretty well in depth in terms of the number of things that are subject to freedom of information law disclosure and the public meetings law. In the past, we had discussed what types of things can be discussed over email, and he had a fantastic analogy. He said, open meetings law started in '76, the current version of it, and the older version started in '74 in New York. If you could send something via inter-office mail to multiple different people, and they got it at their desk, and they read it, and they wrote a response, and then mailed the response with the original to everybody else that was on the original, that was never considered a violation of open meetings law. So, emails. If one board member sends an email to all of the other board members with their position on some topic, it is believable that other board members will get it at a different time and will respond, and that response will come at a much later time, maybe days or potentially weeks later, and it would operate like inter-office mail. And so it is allowed and is not a violation of open meetings law to discuss some topics over email. The only thing you can't do is you can't approve anything by email, and you can't expend funds by email. But you are allowed to discuss things with each other that way.
I did not know that.
So
I thought it was
Yeah.
disperse information by email but not discuss.
It turns out it's all about the contemporaneousness. In other words, whether it's real time. The 5 of you, well, 3 of you or more, cannot get together in a chat room.
Right.
But you can send each other messages that could potentially be read later. You could send text messages to each other all at the same time. Because in theory, it could be read later. Sorry to bore you, Paul.
all right. In regards, it's 10:30. Are we able to post correspondence the rest of the meeting till the work session and approve the abstract and go home? Does anybody want to do that? Is everybody, okay to do that?
I'm okay with it. I'm fine with it.
work, Jason?
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
All right, can I have somebody make a motion then to approve the abstract?
I'll make a motion.
Somebody second?
I'll second it.
All in favor say aye. Aye.
Alright.
Unanimous, carried, approved. And then we'll table correspondence, old business, new business. And it is
10:36.
10:36. Who wants to make a motion to adjourn?
I will.
And we'll second.
I didn't get the I'm sorry, I didn't get the motion about tabling. I was still
Was
finishing
that,
the
did you
abstract
wanna make
one,
a
I'm
motion for
sorry.
that?
No, do I need to?
Is it part of your meeting procedure? It's your meeting procedure, Mr. Mayor.
It's just tabled, that's all it is.
Okay.
Alright, so Wart made the motion to adjourn, Jason second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, carried, approved. Here, here.